This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
I'm Bishop William Byrne, inviting you to radiate the light of Christ by making a gift to the annual Catholic Appeal. The ministries and agencies supported with your generosity help thousands of our neighbors throughout Western Massachusetts. The annual Catholic Appeal unites us in the mission to help meet the physical, spiritual, and sacramental needs of our brothers and sisters and to grow our church. Please donate to the annual Catholic Appeal. Join me in radiating the light of Christ and be a force for hope and love in the world. On behalf of the people we serve, thank you.
Let it
Shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Coming up on this edition of Reel to Reel. As the fires on the island of Maui began to burn last month, a Pittsfield family flying to the island for a vacation quickly started on a mission to help family and strangers through the unfolding nightmare. Kathy Harrington will have that story. David Martin tells us how parishioners in Ware are helping folks deal with food insecurity as they set up a food pantry in their community. And Dan Dumas will have the latest news briefs from across Western Massachusetts. These stories are coming your way next on Reel to Reel. Hello and welcome to Reel to Reel. It was the perfect storm. Drought conditions and high winds at 70 miles an hour from a hurricane passing Hawaii created the deadly combination for fierce wildfires on the island of Maui on August 8th. Within hours, flames spread faster than people could escape the fires. Now, 1 month later, the embers have finally been extinguished. 115 people perished in the fires, 385 people remain missing, and 2,200 buildings, including homes, businesses, and schools, were destroyed. As the fires began to burn, a family from Pittsfield was already flying to Maui for a vacation to visit relatives. Their family vacation quickly began as a mission to help family and strangers through the unfolding nightmare. Kathy Harrington traveled out to Pittsfield, where this family shared their story.
These are the images of Lahaina the Nagata family carried in their hearts as their journey to Hawaii began on August 8th. But before takeoff from LAX, Nicole's aunt called with news.
That there was fires in multiple different areas on the island and that evacuation orders would be in place by the time we landed.
Wildfires can happen on Maui. This time, a hurricane passing offshore sent 70-mile-an-hour winds to the island.
But she did say that it was blazing in multiple areas on the island, which is different. That's not something that's typical. And then that paired with the severity and the velocity of the winds really sort of complicated the situation.
As the plane descended into Maui, Nicole saw the flames.
We could see them blazing from the plane. Our plane landed directly over when the fires were escalating. But by morning time, so we landed about 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, by 6 o'clock in the morning the next day, Lahaina's entire community was gone, was burned to ashes.
In daylight, the magnitude of the devastation was apparent. A registered nurse, Nicole met her husband Lee, a native islander, while working at Maui Memorial Medical Center years before the couple moved to Pittsfield, where I met up with her. The Nagata family belongs to St. Mark Parish.
We saw the level of devastation was, we need to go. But my husband looked at me and said, this is my home, this is my community, this is my family, and they need us now more than ever. And so at that point, we said, this is no longer a family vacation, and this is going to be a mission for us.
Nicole notified the hospital that she could help with the influx of patients.
But not many patients arrived because many didn't survive.
Describing it as a blowtorch, flames fueled by the heavy winds trapped firefighters and first responders, forcing them to shelter in place. One road leads to the central portion of the island from the west side, leaving no way to drive out of the fire zone.
When things escalated out of control, there's only one lane, one road to exit the area that was impacted the most. As you can see from a lot of the photos, cars melted to the ground and doors open and families fleeing into the water. They weren't able to escape.
Abandoned cars added to the gridlock when people were told to run to the water.
Stories of people that treaded water for 8 hours before the Coast Guard picked them up. Stories of young and healthy men who ran back to help elderly people that were in wheelchairs, holding them on their back in the water and treading water with other people on their back, keeping them alive.
Islanders with boats joined the Coast Guard to rescue those stranded in the water. Reports of missing people soared, and the death toll climbed. While helicopters fought the remaining flames with water drops, forces on the ground began to search for the missing. In 48 hours, more than 28,000 tourists left the island, so the focus could be on recovery efforts, and the limited resources could be for the residents. But since tourism is the business of Lahaina, Nicole says it's a double tragedy.
Many people lost their homes, their jobs, their cars. They don't have, any way to support their family anymore. So it's really a tragedy on so many different levels. It's an island that is reliant on tourism, but is so deeply shattered by this devastation, this tragedy, that it doesn't really feel like an appropriate place to be having a vacation.
Nicole, Lee, and their 13-year-old daughter got to work, and the needs of the community changed day by day.
If that meant bringing clothing donations to shelters, that's what we did. If it meant bringing non-perishable items to food banks, that's what we did. If it meant offering free babysitting services to first responders on the island so that they could focus on recovery efforts, that's what we did. We can run away, or we can show up for people who need us.
For families who lost everything, some help came from the Amazon wish lists Nicole and her friends created. After spreading the word to the mainland, toiletries, diapers, detergent, and air purifiers were sent to newly created at-home distribution centers, then into the hands of people in need.
Everybody can do something, and for people that maybe don't have the financial means, you can say a prayer for the people of Maui. They need your prayers now more than ever.
Proof prayers will be heard is just 2 blocks from the rubble of the waterfront. The Maria Lanakila Catholic Church was untouched by the inferno that consumed its neighborhood.
I think it's powerful because it's almost like God knew that the people would need a place to go and to start to rebuild. The church still stands.
In Pittsfield, I'm Kathy Harrington for Reel to Reel.
If you'd like to assist the people of Maui, we have a link to make a donation to a community fund set up by the Diocese of Honolulu on our website at diospringfield.org. You can also make your donation to any local Catholic church. Mark your envelope with Maui Fund. During the pandemic, the All Saints and St. Mary parishes in Ware discontinued their Take and Eat program for safety reasons. In place, they collected non-perishable goods to deliver. This new program gained in popularity, and even after Take and Eat resumed, non-perishable offerings kept coming in. The results? The All Saints St. Mary Food Pantry. David Martin visited recently and has our story.
Will you let me be your servant?
Michael Attender, the director of the New Ware Food Pantry, was overjoyed both All Saints and fellow parish St. Mary had a good stock of non-perishable food items when it opened in April. 15 people came the first day. It indicated there was a need, especially due to inflation and SNAP benefits being decreased in March.
They can take 12 items. We're pretty flexible. If they need 13, go ahead, take it. We're just really trying to meet the needs of our community. Don't have to be a parishioner. just need to be somebody in need.
The All Saints Parish was chosen for its central location and the economic need in the neighborhood. The tender is proud the food pantry was supported the first 3 months on just parish donations. The parish applied and was accepted in August by the Western Mass Food Bank, which has become a great resource. As a member of the Permanent Diaconate Program, the tender was challenged by Father Warren Savage to end hunger for fellow community members.
When we eat this bread and drink this cup.
His challenge was that, how can you go and share in the sacrifice of the Mass, the meal with Jesus, and have your brother not have a meal. And so, we accepted that challenge at this parish to try to provide for those in need. And that's what it personally means. I feel like, Jesus calls us to do this. Jesus calls us to help those in need many, many times.
Both parishes have collection baskets for donations. Brian Reum, the inventory coordinator, takes the food, sorts it out, checks the expiration dates, and then fills the shelves.
God is so good, right? So it's not pride. I didn't do anything. We just put it out there, and God provided, right? So our parishioners have been amazing. Every week we come and there's food, and there's always food in the baskets. So we bring the food down here. It's just, I guess there's a little bit of pride saying that I belong to a church that's very giving, very charitable, and just, it's a wonderful feeling.
As a missionary church, volunteers supply coffee, pastries, and hot meals. Reum, a parishioner at St. Mary, enjoys the generous nature of people who utilize the food pantry. They in turn offer help and donate clothing which is washed and hung.
People come in, they're smiling, they're happy. They're happy they can select the items that they need themselves. We see that actually what ends up happening is some people come, they take the items they need. They actually are donating items that they don't need, that they have extra in. So it's really a community cooperation.
Popular foods include macaroni and cheese, ravioli, and soup. Baby wipes and pet food are also donated. Rebecca Desjardins, the volunteer coordinator, said when people walk in the door, volunteers are right there to assist them, with the mind frame of seeing Jesus in everyone. It's going to take some work.
First of all, they're amazing. They're so willing and they're so able, and they definitely put their whole heart into it. They're very respectful of our shoppers.
Desjardins, also a parishioner at St. Mary, has noticed increasing numbers of people since opening, so the need has extended. She believes both parishes will be prepared to offer more assistance for food insecurity long into the future. The Ware Parish's food pantry is open the second and fourth Saturday of each month from 9 a.m. until 12 p.m. For Real to Real, I'm David Martin.
Food insecurity is an issue no matter where we look, and there's another organization here in Springfield working to help the issue here in the North End neighborhood. The Gray House is kicking off its 9th annual Fill the Plate, Feed a Family Challenge. Joining me now with more is Kristen McClintock, Executive Director of Gray House. Hi, Kristen. We're happy to have you here on Real to Real today.
I'm so happy to be here, Sharon. Thank you.
Now, tell me, first of all, how prevalent is food insecurity in the North End of Springfield?
So I think the best way to look at it is sometimes by numbers. And so if we're looking at 2019, so the last full year before the pandemic, versus 2022, which is the last complete year we have for data, we've seen a 193% increase in service visits to our emergency food assistance program.
And so what is the Fill the Plate Challenge all about?
It's a really great month-long initiative. The entire month of September, we want to raise awareness and funds to support our market. And as we're seeing these increases, this funding allows us to continue to meet that need for the families who need it the most.
All right, it sounds like such a good cause, and if folks want to get involved, how can they do so?
So there's lots of ways to get involved. If individuals are interested in supporting this endeavor, they can give monetarily, either online or by check. They can donate food. We accept any non-perishable food items Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30, and also with their time. So if they have an hour or two to spare and they'd like to help our market, we would love to have people coming down so that we can get the food out into the community where it belongs.
Kristen McClintock, thank you so much for joining us, and let's hope you fill lots of plates this month. Good luck to you and your team.
Thank you so much for having me.
And the Gray House is also a recipient of annual Catholic Appeal funds. If you would like more information on the Fill the Plate Challenge or any of the other programs and services at Gray House, we have a link for you at iobserve.org. And still to come on Reel to Reel, Dan Dumas will have the latest news briefs from the Diocese of Springfield. And mark your calendars for a special concert by Grammy Award nominee, singer-songwriter Vince Ambrosetti. These stories and more are still to come on Reel to Reel.
Like Catholic TV on Facebook. Once you're there, you can join in on discussions, make friends with other Catholic TV fans, watch behind-the-scenes videos from the studio,
Just finished this today.
and stay up to date with the Catholic world. All this at facebook.com/CatholicTV.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
I'm Bishop William Byrne, inviting you to radiate the light of Christ by making a gift to the annual Catholic Appeal. The ministries and agencies supported with your generosity help thousands of our neighbors throughout Western Massachusetts. The annual Catholic Appeal unites us in the mission to help meet the physical, spiritual, and sacramental needs of our brothers and sisters and to grow our church. Please donate to the annual Catholic Appeal. Join me in radiating the light of Christ and be a force for hope and love in the world. On behalf of the people we serve, thank you.
Let it
shine, let it shine, let it shine.
On our life's journey, as we seek purpose and connection, we are called to place our faith and trust in something greater than our own understanding. We are called by someone who already loves us and offers himself to us, Jesus Christ. His body, given daily, his blood poured out for us. We never journey alone in life. Through the Eucharist, we encounter his real presence and others who share our faith. Together, we become one with him in his very flesh. And when we bring his presence out into the world, we can be light for others. This is the gospel call: to make disciples of all nations, laying down our lives for others. The time is now to unite our hearts with his for the life of the world.
I'm Dan Dumas with your Reel to Reel News Briefs. A candlelight vigil was held at Our Lady of the Sacred Heart Parish in Springfield recently. People gathered to pray for peace after an uptick in violence and the murder of a 10-year-old girl and her grandmother. Carolee McGrath has the story.
Seeking hope and healing, more than 100 people gathered at Our Lady of the Sacred Heart Parish in Springfield August 23rd for a candlelight vigil and procession for peace. This was in response to the recent violence in the city, which claimed the lives of 52-year-old Kim Fairbanks and her 10-year-old granddaughter. The shooting happened in the Pine Point section of Springfield, not far from Our Lady of the Sacred Heart.
One of my parishioners who's granddaughter is a server of mine, approached me the other day, and she had known a family member of one of those affected, and she said, "Father, we got to pray."
Father Ryan Rooney, the pastor of Ulsh, quickly organized the vigil with the help of parishioner Paula Guyette.
The city of Springfield has had way too much gun violence. We're here today because I've had friends that just, got taken away this past week, and it breaks my heart.
Springfield Bishop William Byrne presided over the service.
We're here to stem violence with the two tools that are most effective. The church teaches that real peace comes from love and justice. And we pray for our police and support them, cooperate. But also, each of us needs to build love in our lives, in our families, in our homes, in our neighborhoods. This is how change truly happens. It's not just our efforts, it's our bringing God into our efforts.
Father Rooney sang the Ave Maria during the service, which was attended by the victim's family. Then those gathered lit candles and processed outside the church.
Jesus calls us the light of the world, and particularly at this time, people are feeling afraid, and they're doubting their faith, they're doubting where we're going. But we who know Christ and who are called to be his light will get together and shine that light.
A few city leaders were also in attendance, including Springfield Mayor Dominic Sarno and Springfield Police Superintendent Cheryl Clapperud. In Springfield, I'm Carolee McGrath.
In other news, after 42 years, Brother Terrence Scanlon recently made the decision to step back from his duties as host of the Chalice of Salvation weekly televised Mass and enjoy a well-earned retirement. Originally, Brother Terry had planned to announce this himself and work through the fall. However, over the last several weeks, a medical issue has required further attention. Brother Terry wants everyone to know he's doing well and has been overwhelmed with the amount of prayers and well wishes coming his way. A celebration is planned later this year to honor Brother Terry for his many years of service to the church here in Western Massachusetts. And finally, the annual Marian Day celebration in Greenfield drew a large crowd in Franklin County in mid-August. The day was dedicated to celebrating Mary, the mother of Jesus. Steve Kiltonic tells us more.
On August 12th, priests, deacons, and parishioners from all corners of Franklin County gathered at Blessed Trinity Church to participate in the 27th annual Marian Day celebration. With the threat of thunderstorms looming, the event began with confessions heard inside the church by 9 priests from the Franklin County Deanery. The afternoon celebration included a Eucharistic procession in front of the church, benediction, rosary, and the crowning of Mary, whose feast day was the day before. Music was provided by the Deanery Choir.
It's the consistent work of the pastors of Franklin County, the priests throughout all the parishes that have allowed this to be a regular annual celebration. And I think that consistency has allowed for it to be what it is today, that people know to expect it and they long for it.
Dan Arsenault, the Knights of Columbus's district deputy for Franklin County, explained why there's such a strong turnout each year.
I think it's Mary. It's Mary. Mary brings us together. She's a very strong saint. She's helped me out a great deal. I pray for her for intercessions, and it's really helped me.
Arsenault said up to 60 knights participated in the Marian Day event and helped prepare lunch and meals. The day coincided with the celebration of the 1-year anniversary of Blessed Trinity, which merged Holy Trinity and Blessed Sacrament parishes.
It's a great honor to be able to do this, and we've done it for many, many years. The Marian celebration and the Divine Mercy Sunday are the two celebrations that we normally all come together as a family in the deanery with all the priests and deacons, and it's a wonderful celebration. All our sisters are here.
Father Pierce invited the sisters from the Servants of the Lord, the Virgin of Matara, or Servidores in Spanish, tracing their Argentinian roots. They intended a community building trip in New Hampshire and were returning home to their novitiate house in Maryland.
We have a great devotion to Mary. We actually take a fourth vow of Marian slavery. So the 3 vows are poverty, chastity, obedience, and we take a fourth vow in maternal slavery of love to the Blessed Mother.
Sister Mary, Mother of God, was the last-minute substitute to give a reflection during the homily.
Our charism is the incarnation, so I pray with it a lot. And so I was like, yeah, I think I can share something about that.
She summarized her message.
In order to do God's will, right, in everyday life, we can have a companion and a model in Our Lady, right? Our Lady who wants to walk with us, and she helps us, right, say yes to God, like her fiat.
The Servidora sisters also sang a number of hymns in remembrance of Our Lady's intercession and in renewal of their consecration to her. In Greenfield, I'm Steve Kiltonic.
And you could read more on these and other stories at iobserve.org, where you can find articles from our Catholic communications staff, as well as on-demand episodes of Real to Real. That's iobserve.org. I'm Dan Dumas, and those were your Real to Real news briefs.
Future Full of Hope, a concert by musician Vince Ambrosetti, is coming to St. Mary's Church in Longmeadow next weekend. Joining me now with more is Father C.J. Waitikis, pastor of St. Mary's. Hi, Father C.J., it's great to have you here on Real to Real.
Hi, Sharon, and thanks for having me.
A very exciting event to talk about. Vince Ambrosetti, a Catholic Artist of the Year, a 7-time honoree of Unity Awards, and a 3-time Grammy nominee, is coming to St. Mary's. Tell us all about it.
Sure. So Vince Ambrosetti, well known in the Diocese of Springfield, will be back to St. Mary's. He's been with us twice before, giving 2 different missions. This time it's just a Sunday evening concert on the 17th of September from 7 to 8:30. And I'm here to invite everyone and anyone in the area to come to St. Mary's, to join us, to lift your voice in song during these September days. We would love to have you there.
Yeah, he certainly is a very talented musician. I'm sure people will love the event. What are the details again? Do people need tickets?
No tickets are needed. No, again, we will pass the basket. There will be what we call a free will offering. So it's up to the person if they would like to donate. And we hope they do a little bit anyway. No tickets, just show up. St. Mary's in Longmeadow on Longmeadow Street, the 17th of September, 7 p.m. to roughly 8:30.
All right, thank you so much, Father C.J., who, by the way, is a great singer and one of our stars of the Singing Priest. Best of luck next weekend to you.
Thank you.
In just a few days, on September 15th, the Big E in West Springfield will begin its 17-day run. If you're going to the fair and would like to attend Mass, you will have that opportunity. Each Sunday of the Big E, there will be an 8 a.m. Mass in the Meeting House at Storyton Village, and again at 10 a.m. in the Big Top Tent. Bishop Byrne will celebrate the 8 a.m. Mass next Sunday on the 17th. So enjoy the fair and fulfill your obligation at this year's Big E as well. And for this week, that's Real to Real. To keep up with the latest news on the Catholic Church here in the Diocese of Springfield and around the world, head over to iobserve.org, where we have it all for you. And we are also on Facebook at Catholic Communications. For our viewers on WWLP TV 22, Real to Real will continue to air at this 6:30 a.m. hour on Sunday mornings due to NBC's college football schedule. All others will air at the regularly scheduled times. So join me at this same time next week for Real to Real, your window on the world around you. See you then.
Real to Real is a production of the Catholic Communications Corporation, funded in part by the annual Catholic Appeal, and the support of you, our faithful viewers.